Sky Squad, we are back in the building. And listen, we got to talk about the Jackie Christie show. I mean, basketball wives. So the ladies are back for the latest season. And we're going to talk about the first episode of this is apparently, I guess, what is it, 11B episode, what, 14? I think. I really don't know, to be honest with you. All I know is that it's Jackie versus everybody. Okay. And the episode is titled A Liar's Gonna Lie. But who is the liar? I guess that's up for us to determine. Okay. For us to try to figure out and do our own little super sleuthing. Okay. To be fair, I don't even remember the conversation in question. Technically, I think we heard the conversation that they're all up in arms about, but we'll talk a little bit more about it as we dive further into the episode. All right. So we're back with the new episode of the season. We're just starting, and I'm gonna rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10, right? If I had to rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10, I would actually give it a solid 9. I think a 9.5 would be more than generous, but I think a solid 9 will do. Let me tell you why I give it a 9. And you let me know what you would rate it in the chatterization down below. I give it a 9 because I was pleasantly surprised and entertained by this episode. I was. I loved the editing. I thought that the editing was superb. I felt like something felt more Selling Sunset about this episode, and the way that the scenes were woven together with the transitions and the editing. I look at those things, and things like that get me excited about television, especially when I feel like there's effort and care taken into how the episode is shaped, right? So I did appreciate that. I felt like it felt elevated to me for some reason. I loved that they went back to the old days of how seasons first started with the sort of high gloss aspect of what the franchise is supposed to be about, this alleged sisterhood. I say alleged because a lot of y'all are really upset about the fact that a lot of these ladies are no longer married to the players with whom they initially got with in order to become a basketball wife. But when I look really at the surrounding landscape of reality TV shows, especially like Housewives, not a lot of the women are actually, wives at this point in time anymore. Or are they even, and a lot of them are very, very, I would say entrepreneurial in their own right. So this idea of the housewife, or whatever the original concept was said to be, I think is really morphed over time, right? And I think bringing back Brandy, having Jacille on the show, having Jackie on the show, who is also still married, these three ladies really do give us the solidified version of a basketball wife, to be honest with you. You have them at various stages, which I think is also interesting. Jackie, who has been married the longest, who seemingly has like the perfect sort of marital situation, though we know no marriage is perfect. Then we have Brandy, who has had, very publicized issues with her marriage, but she's still in it. And then we have Jacille, who is about to get married, along with Jennifer, who is marrying, but not someone in the league, right? So I don't know. I mean, I don't mind it. I feel like as much as maybe some other people do, but maybe that's just me. I stopped short of giving it the full 10 because I do feel like Basketball Wives functions best, and therefore functions again as the Jackie Christie versus everybody story plays out for the umpteenth time. Now, the reason why this works, but the reason why I feel like they need to tread with caution is because this has been a trope for this show for plenty of seasons, right? And so we always know that an activated Jackie, all right, an activated Evelyn are likely going to make for a combustible season. But without the added element of newness or freshness, I just wonder if that will get stale with the audience. So we're also going to have to see what we're going to see later, I believe, will be Evelyn versus Brandy, and hopefully some other things at play within this group, right? Um, Again, the show works best when Jackie is activated. I mean, and I feel like we're supposed to dislike her. Um, and maybe on some other show I would. But the problem with disliking Jackie is that it's hard because she's funny to me. Okay. I, case in point, Jackie interviewing these interns last night. I was like, what? Why do these people need to be working 24/7? Why? Why you got to get women and men's for the girls? Like, what is this? Is this Studio 54? Like, what are you doing? What in the pimp are you doing? What in the pimp my ride are you doing with these folks? Okay. That's coming on for the talk show. Because in the preview, I saw an alpaca. Okay. I did not see a guest. I saw a studio audience, a green screen, and an alpaca. Okay. And then she saw someone talking about boom. Then when they were describing what Jackie's gonna do when she starts allegedly lying, it was like, yeah, she's gonna pull on her hair, she's gonna make all these faces and whatnot. And Jackie did all of those things. So to me, I mean, I feel like I was satiated because I felt like the episode felt fresh to me, right? It felt fresh in a way that I don't know. It just did. It just re-energized me. You kind of get to the point in doing this for so long where it feels redundant sometimes, right? So it is nice when I can watch an episode and feel relaxed. Like I didn't feel like this tension that felt like it was so thick that it made me not want to watch the show. And I also don't feel like the fandom is so like fierce in there, like, I hate, like I don't feel like it's like that. Now, it could change by the end of the season and ask me how I feel by that point. But, at least now in the beginning, things feel somewhat okay. Except for the tea that we got to talk about with Brooke and this reveal of another voice recording with Jackie going off. Okay. So let's talk really about what is the core of the episode, right? Actually, no, let's get to the tea because I feel like it will inform some of what is happening in the episode. So I want to shout out our friends over at Reality Tea, right? So I don't know who Nasty J is, and I don't know what this voice record memo is about, but apparently this is from April the 3rd of 2024. Now, I don't know if that was around the same time. I cannot recall the exact dates of when Sunday went ham on Jackie online, but and so I'm trying to figure out who Jackie was talking to. And I don't know how this recording was obtained, but it is another recording of Jackie allegedly talking about Brooke. Okay, so I got to put the alleged because I don't know who it was. Right? It sounds like Jackie, and it sounds like she's talking about Brooke. But I put the alleged just to be on the safe side because this is what it. I mean, that's what it is. This is what we got to do. So anyway, Brooke tweets and says, the only money I collect in my daughter's name is through a foundation that I created to give back in Kayla's honor. So listen to what is being said, and then we'll discuss.
And I've already said, I gave you guys one opportunity when I had my dinner to come. It was me. I don't want to shoot with her. I'm back on that. I ain't fuming with her because I already know what she's gonna do. And my attorneys and everybody else already recommended I don't. I'm not going 10 steps back for this bride. I don't like her. I don't care for her. I'm not doing it. She's still on here trying to get paid off of this baby. I'm good. Y'all can have that. Get somebody else to do it. So I'm not doing it. Nothing with her. Me and Brooke will not have a conversation on national TV no more. She done fucked herself with me for good. So she can have it with whoever else she wants, but she won't.
So I guess the angst here is about Jackie saying she's still on here, I guess trying to use this baby as her story. Which is very again, now see, here is where we feel like, oh, Jackie, you've stepped in it again. Okay. So my question to you guys is Jackie her own worst enemy? Two things can be true. One, Jackie can be comedy, but also Jackie can be her own worst enemy when it comes to these ladies, thus putting her in the sort of island space wherein psychologically the audience tends to root for the underdog despite the way the situation may look on camera, right? So if you find yourself as a Jackie fan, you may find yourself a fan of hers despite the stuff, her stepping in her own poop. But it's also balanced with the comedic element, which makes people still fall in love with her character on the show. Psychologically, I'm just trying to think about how it all works for her good, or for her not so good. Anyway, Brooke says it's nasty for anyone to ever think that I would need to collect money because my child passed. I would never. Don't speak on my real life experiences when you know nothing about it, especially when I do all I can to try to help others who have joined this unfortunate club. For me, in reference to anything dealing with Brooke and her daughter, I do feel like that should be left alone. Mostly because the grief process is just on a real level is super long, arduous, scary. It is just very, very, it's a deep thing to go through. So that's an element I probably would never speak about, simply because I know what it is like when someone who is so close to you, their life is taken or so quickly, and you're not prepared for it, and you wished so many things that you could have done differently, and it just it tears you apart and it changes you. It really, really does. So that's an element that I would definitely leave alone if I was Jackie. And Brooke is also upset in the episode because Jackie did an interview with Funky Dineva where she basically said that she was sort of she kind of indicated that she was pushed into making this apology or doing the scene with Brooke to make the apology because of the powers that be, right? I'm assuming that would be production. So there is that. That is why Brooke and especially at this point is not wanting anything to do with Jackie. Evelyn, because there was a phone call when the posters came out for Basketball Wives and Basketball Wives Orlando, and they featured Jackie, Evelyn. No, they featured Evelyn, Shaunie, and Jennifer on one side, and then three of the girls from Orlando. Now, I would just have assumed that they featured Shaunie, Evelyn, and Jennifer because that was the original franchise. I do feel like I would have put probably Jackie there instead of Jennifer, mostly because it would have balanced out the idea that, these are the sort of the faces of the franchise, And Jackie has always been at the forefront because she's been here the longest on LA. So, and she's played such a big role in it. So I could see why she might feel a certain type of way, but maybe not to the effect that she would want to slap Evelyn. But and maybe that was a real conversation she should have had with Shaunie. And maybe we should have seen that play out. Like, hey, listen, I feel like I have been here and I am deserving of this moment. And I feel like that was taken away from me. And I don't think that there's anything. I think that when we are open and honest about how we feel about those types of instances, that we can either move forward or we can choose not to move forward. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the focus is still back to Jackie Christie. All roads lead back to Jackie Christie. So let's talk a little bit more about what happened in the episode so that I can give you guys a sort of feeling, in case you missed it, on what you might have missed if you didn't see it. Now, the episode did premiere at 8 p.m. last night. I did watch it in real time. Brandy is back in the mix. She comes back. The core of the episode really is catching up with all of the ladies. And, we are going to really lead up to Jackie telling Jennifer that she wants to have a sisterhood Ponderosa with the ladies to clear the air, and whether or not the rest of the ladies will come. And we'll discuss them one by one. So Brandy shows up midway through the episode. She meets with Jennifer and Brooke. And this is when Jennifer is inviting Brooke to come to the Ponderosa that Jackie is hosting. Brooke says no, so she convinces Brandy to come with her. Brandy is technically uninvited. Well, she's not uninvited. She's just not invited by Jackie. And Jackie is not going to be too pleased with that. All right, so Shaunie does not make an appearance in this episode, but I always feel like Shaunie's presence hovers over this show like it depends on what you want to, whether you want to call it a dark cloud or sunshine. Her influence I feel like it's kind of felt on this show in a way that I just kind of feel like she's still in charge of the girls. Evelyn is back. Evelyn, to me, serves as the narrator for this show. I can understand why producers, from a production standpoint, would want someone like Evelyn on the show, who has been on the show for such a long time. Having OGs on a show, I think this is where it really works, because production-wise, this is how I'm looking at the show. Whether you like Evelyn or not, I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at her function, right? And Evelyn's function seems to be as one of the main narrators of the show. Whether Jackie is the focal point or not, it is not Jackie who narrates the show. It is Evelyn. And that is the truth. And I think that was one of the things that was missing when Evelyn was not on the show, is because if you didn't have Tammy, if you didn't have Drea, and if you're not going to make Jackie the narrator because Jackie is at the center of the drama, you're probably saving Jackie for reactions. So you want someone like an Evelyn who can narrate the action that's happening, and we're the viewer are supposed to follow as she tells this story. That's kind of how I feel. I feel like someone is always the central narrator because you will hear their voice the most throughout the episodes. I think that, yeah. So Evelyn is back, and we're focusing a lot on her clothing line, SG by Evelyn Lozada. It feels more like sportswear, bodysuits. From my understanding, we do see the ups and downs of that journey. She's hired an assistant. She's still upset with Jackie. So that's pretty much what we're seeing in this first episode. All right, so listen, we're gonna talk about Brook Bailey. Brook Bailey's back and bites. She's still going through it. She's still, her world is still in transition. However, we do know now that she has finally put the stamp on the divorce from her husband. And it looks like in the new episodes, we will see her dating someone new. She will not be attending Jackie's Ponderosa because she just wants nothing to do with Jackie at this point. But I think we will see as the episodes go along that they will indeed meet up at some point. All right, Jacille is back. Jacille is a great addition to the show. I feel like she's logical. She is reasonable. She is in love. She is getting married. She's got the basketball connection. Because at this point in time in the episodes, at least, her fiance is kind of in and out of town. She's in town and away from her son. So Jacille is one of those who is kind of brought in. I think we are all now we are all now hip to how Basketball Wives is filmed, wherein some of the ladies will live in LA for a short period of time while they film to handle business. And we're all okay with it at this point because we just understand what it is. She too goes to the Ponderosa, and Jackie dismisses her as quickly as she the way Jackie I really didn't like the way Jackie did Jacille, but I did feel like Jackie said, I'm gonna line y'all up. If y'all want it, you can get it. Okay. And Jacille also got it, much to her dismay. All right. Jennifer is doing YouTubes with her man. She is in Paris. You know, she's spending lots of money, buku cash. She is bold and bougie and back on the scene. You know, her and her man are getting married, and she is sort of the middle person in Jackie's, orbit. And she is going to try to wrangle the rest of the girls back to the Ponderosa so that Jackie can effectively curse most of them out, Jennifer also included. Okay. So that's that. And Jackie, of course, is the focus of the episode. Jackie is working on her talk show. She is literally, interviewing interns a la Sonia Morgan, and I love it. Okay. Love it. Jackie kept me laughing throughout this entire episode. If you watch Basketball Wives as a comedy, you will not be upset about this show. That is the conclusion that I've come to. If you watch Basketball Wives as a comedy, you will not be upset by this show. Okay? It's so many shows out there that everybody gets so upset about. I don't want this to be one of them. Do not do it to this show, y'all. Okay? We ain't got that much to watch on TV right now. Anyway, Jackie is gathering the girls for the Ponderosa. The girls show up. They confront, and Jackie brings her friend, Dr. Cheyenne. And that's the complaint that I have, which took this episode from a 9, from a 9.5 to a 9. Jackie needs more allies. Without allies, it feels like, how is Jackie going to film this season? Granted, if she's filming and she's still Jackie, she's going to always be funny. She doesn't really need much. But you also still need women for her to film with, cast members for her to film with. And I just kind of feel like I would have loved to see Sunday back, but we know that fell apart. Is it really Jackie that can't keep no friends, or is it something more? And if we're going to have Jackie back and she's going to be at odds with everybody, again, we just need someone who is there with her as a ride or die, and who is also a character on the show. Otherwise, it's just going to feel like everybody versus Jackie all season. And that, to me, is where I might get a little bored. Okay? But we got to see how it plays out. Now, again, Jennifer, as the ladies confront her, everybody is there at the Ponderosa. Brandy can attest to the fact that Jackie did, in fact, say that she wanted to slap Evelyn and that Shaunie was running from her or something like that. Brandy says she was on the call. Jackie denies it. Then she kind of says, well, if I said I wanted to slap you, I don't want to slap you. Evelyn's still not okay with that because she's now on the Brooke situation. And she just feels like Jackie is really not about sisterhood, even as Jackie's friend, Dr. Cheyenne, tries to help them all navigate. They don't respect or know Dr. Cheyenne, so they don't really have a clue as to why she's really there. It's kind of like, who are you? Are you Iyanla? And what's your purpose here? We came to deal with Jackie. Jackie is actually annoyed that Brandy is there. Now, I don't know if that's because Brandy was on that call, but what I do know is she don't really want her there. So Evelyn is the first to get up and bounce. Brandy goes to check on Evelyn. Jaceel and Jennifer are left, I think, at a certain point. Jennifer tries to, reason with Jackie that, she kind of always steps in her own way. Jackie then goes off and says, well, just like, when you was talking about Evelyn's daughter and she was treating you like ish for the past 3 years, and I was the only person that had your back. Oh, is that what you mean? So then Jennifer runs out. Jaceel tries to also reason with Jackie. Jackie tells her, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye, babes. Bye-bye. 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 Okay? And so Jaceel walks out. So really, Jackie is left with Dr. Cheyenne, who is not really an official cast member. And that was the episode. So let me know what you guys think. If you watched it, I want to know what your thoughts are. I would just ask that you guys, listen. Just tell me your opinion. Okay? Just tell me your opinion. All right? Leave it in the chat. Leave it in the chat and let it go. All right? Look at this show as a comedy and you will enjoy it that much more. That's what I think, personally. Until we get bored. Okay? Hopefully, we don't get to that point. But I can't really say for sure right now. Anyway, so that's the tea for Basketball Wives, the new season premiere. Let me know what you guys think about it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Like this video. And listen, click the links in the description of this video. If you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, then also click in the link because we have some great stuff for you, okay? Make sure you guys tap into the Skye Squad membership community where you guys can get exclusive tea. I'm dropping a new video this week, probably later this week. We're going to do the review for Super Sale in the community as well. If you haven't watched that on Netflix, tune in, tap into that. Then also, of course, we have Bali coming up. We have space available for that. And then we also have Thailand coming up in March. Okay, so if you have good energy, if you want to do something different than what maybe you normally would do, and you want to join a little exclusive community of people who are really excited to travel and see different continents, this is your opportunity to do so with a group that is safe, that feels good, that is going to have your back, and that is going to have a good time. Tap in. So with that being said, y'all, I will catch you, of course, in the next video.